I'm gonna make a Boros commander build out of the cards in the Boros Guild kit, plus other cards in my collection. As I usually make these builds, they tend to be made. I make them with mostly with standard cards, then a few others, a sprinkling of others. I don't try to go all out and make the super most competitive deck that I can. And I've gotten comments about that before. And I've thought about doing that someday. I'm not ready to do that. I'm not sure that it's my style. I'd much rather make the cheapest fun deck that I can make. So now let's go through. I've got a really large pile of cards. So in this first video, I'm just going to go through the cards that I have. Oh, sorry that I kicked the tripod. I do that sometimes. And then later on, I'm just going to arrange them off video. And start making selections. Now the first selection to make would be what is going to be our commander. Now the commander that came out of the two commanders that come out of the guild kit, I really don't have any other good Boros commanders. I could have pulled the mythic out of Guilds of Ravnica, but I did not. I could have pulled the new Aurelia. So the mythic and the rare, I pulled neither. So we're really going to go with whatever the guild kit has. It comes down to these two choices. I think Aurelia is a better pick. I think Mr. Cos here, Mr. Agris Cos, is a 5-drop and Aurelia is a 6-drop. And the jump in one more mana for what we get out of Aurelia is a lot more because of that cost of the extra battle phase. I played this Aurelia. This is the Aurelia from Ravnica 2. Played her a lot when she was in Standard. And yeah, you can not read it so well. So I'll just put it this way so we can read it. Whenever Aurelia attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control. After that phase, there is an additional combat phase. And she's got Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. And she's a 3/4. Not that strong. You may want to put equipment on her. And we have a few equipments in the card selections that I have. But still, I think much better for the extra mana than our friend here. And all he does is boost up red creatures by +2 for attack and give white creatures a +2 but. That's really it. He doesn't fly. He doesn't do anything special. Whereas Aurelia has haste, which is really great, and she's got vigilance. So yeah, the difference for 1 mana, you got a way stronger commander, and this dude is just a support dude, and I put him in. So I'm gonna say just off the top, from our 60, these two are in. Now I've got a lot of cards to discuss, and I like to take my time. I hope you don't mind. So it may be that I have 2 whole videos just looking through the cards. Hopefully not. I'm gonna try to go at a reasonable speed so that we don't take forever. I pulled this foil a while back, Assemble the Legion, and it costs 5, but once you put it on the board, it keeps getting counters and it keeps dropping tokens incrementally. That's pretty good. If nobody has a way to get rid of enchantments, this thing will build you your army just by itself. Okay? This guy, I don't think is that great. He's a 6/4/4 and he can't fly. But it does deal damage when it enters the field, and you can pump it. So it is pumpable. Yeah, we'll think about him. Then another one from Ravnica 2, from Gatecrash, the Minotaur has Battalion. And so when it and at least 2 other creatures attack, it gains double strike until end of turn. That's not bad, and it is fairly aggro as a 3/1. Gleam of Battle is a 6-drop enchantment, and whenever a creature you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. In Commander, I think that would be pretty good, I would say. I don't know, you guys tell me what you think. And then this dude is from Eldritch Moon. Write down, and you destroy target blocking creature, and the creatures that were blocked by that creature this combat gain trample until end of turn. That's a pretty neat instant battle trick, and you're in those 2 colors. Then getting down to the Guilds of Ravnica set, The Boros Challenger has Mentor and a really good body, and for all four you can pump it +1/+1. I'm not sure that's that useful, but he's still a good dude, and he's got Mentor. Mentor builds up pretty quickly, and I really like it. Huge fan of Mentor. Then the double cycle of uncommons, they're all fantastic for all the guilds. At least the ones that have come out, and I suspect that the 5 that will come out with allegiances will be just as good. And it's got Mentor, and when it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target player. That's a pretty good back hit, which is similar in some way to Boros Reckoner, which is also, I believe, in this deck. So I'll just put them up front. So Boros Reckoner is a 3/3/3. It doesn't fly, but it can gain first strike when you pump it. You're not going to do more than once. But the beauty of Boros Reckoner is when you try to kill it, it hits you back for however much you hit it for. That's pretty good. Then Justice Strike. It's a nice way to get rid of a creature that is square. So if it's a 6/6, or maybe it's aggro, maybe like it's an 8/4, because it's all about the power. So it deals damage equal to its power. So it's not going to do anything to a 3/4, but anything that's aggro, this thing kills, and it's at instant speed. Now this card is one of these alternate win conditions. I'm not sure that I would pick it, and I think I may even make some just off the top selections right now, just to thin out our mountain of cards, so that we're not constantly discussing a gigantic number of cards. So yes, I think in limited, and some other, and maybe in constructed, when you've got just the right way to win the game, you give all your creatures indestructible and you take an extra turn. That's pretty good, but it's very risky. I don't know what you guys think. I would not put it in, frankly. I'm a little more conservative, even though this is a balls to the wall, build an army, attack like crazy deck. I still think this is too risky. Somebody, especially if you're playing multiplayer, somebody could really do some damage for you during that extra turn and make sure that you cannot win, and then you lose. That's too risky in my book. Then Martial Glory, which I was not going to consider, but then I thought about a little more, is good because it makes something aggro and gives something a fat butt. It can be the same creature. It does not say that you have to be too picky. So I thought about it. I wasn't even going to consider it, but I like it. Then the Legionnaire, it's a flyer haste 3/2. I'll take it, even though it's a common. Nothing wrong with taking a common in a casual build, in a peasant's build. Then 3/3/1 Mentor, yeah, it's in aggro. You're attacking with an army. Anything Mentor that's aggro you want. Same with this dude. He's not aggro. He's a 1/2, and this is where I'm looking through some of the creatures, and I'll be looking through some of the equipment, and I think I'm going to try to put some equipment in this deck. I don't know what volume. Is it going to be 6? So it's a 1 in 10. I don't have that many equipment to select from that I've put in this particular set of cards, but still, and also some enchantment auras. So the question will be, how much pumping do I want to do in this deck for this guy? And maybe if I don't have enough pumping, then this guy will be out, even though he's a double striker. Another Mentor dude, first strike, 2/2, a bear, 2/2. Yeah, he's in, definitely. This guy obviously is in. Battalion is very good. It and 2 other creatures attack. This guy becomes a 3/3. That's fantastic, and it could even trigger. I wonder. This is a rules question. If once it gets the +2/+2, does it trigger? Does it serve as a Mentor trigger? So what I'm going to do with this deck, which I don't do all the time, but I definitely plan to do with this one and all the Guild Kit builds, is to build it in Magic Online and just test the heck out of it. This guy is fantastic. So when it attacks, you may pay a red mana, and target creature can't block this turn. An all-star. Definitely an all-star. Then Bright Flame with Radiance, which is from Ravnica 1, City of Guilds. It deals X damage to target creature and each other creature that shares a color with it. And you gain life equal to the damage dealt that way. I will discuss, I have an Ajanix Primate in my selection, and there's a whole bunch of lifelink cards that I have in the selection to look at for this build. So this is actually on theme with something that I'm thinking about for this deck, even though I usually frown on life gain. If it is one major strategy for your deck, that's perfectly fair. This card is fantastic. Rearranging attackers is really, really good. And you get to do it for all of 4 and at instant speed, so I'll definitely take it. Comes from the guild kit. Then a flyer, 6/5/5 with Mentor, and when it dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on each white creature you control. A lot of your creatures are 2 colors in this deck, so you gotta have a lot of white creatures, even though they're white-red, so that's good. And then this guy is one of my favorites. I used to play the daylights out of it when it was in Standard. It's a big sacrifice critter, of course, but it can take out something big. I mean, your opponent has a 5/5 flyer that's bugging you. You drop this thing, you hit your opponent for 1, you gain some life, this thing dies, you're going to sacrifice it anyways, so why not go in a hell of glory? It's a great card for an aggro deck. I really, really like this card. I wish I had more of this effect in this selection. I think that's the only one like it that I have available for this deck. Then the War Boss, which is a great card, 3/2 Mentor. It would go really well on a Goblin deck, but I'm not doing Goblins in here. Not theming for Goblins, even though there are some Goblin theme cards in Standard right now. Most of my cards are from Standard, from my cracks for Standard. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a Goblin, and it gains haste, and it attacks this combat if able, and you don't have to get rid of it. It doesn't say to get rid of it, so that's pretty good. If somebody lets you, you can just keep them. Keep the Goblins, although they're usually are going to die in battle. Then the Vindicator, 2/1 double strike, vigilance, trample. That's really good. Perfect card to put equipment on, boost it somehow. So I'll have to think about that. Then the Loyalist, a fantastic card from Ravnica 2. It's got haste and battalion. This was one of the key cards in a red deck wins strategy back when Ravnica 2 was around in Standard, when Return to Ravnica block. Signet, of course, I would pick it. I mean, that's one of the things that are selling the guild kits. Okay, then we're going down to some of the spells, and I've included a few other cards, but I'm going to stop at where the cards in the guild kit stop, and then I'll go through other selections that I have to play with. Okay, so from the guild kit also, create 2 tokens for 3 with lifelink, which fits the lifelink theme that I want to build into in this deck. Then there's the Helix. The best Helix comes from the guild kit, and there's another Helix from Dragon's Mace. We're in Commander, so it's nice to have the same effect in multiple cards. Similar cards, similar. Of course, Lightning Helix is much better. For 2, you hit for 3 and 3. In the case of the Poor Man's Helix from Ravnica 2, this is Ravnica 1, Ravnica 2, all you get is 4/4 and you pay 4. So 2/3/3, 4/4/4. Obviously this card is better, I think. But either way, they're both good. Then the Boros Charm, which does come with the guild kit, can hit for 4 to a target player or planeswalker. Very nice as one of the options. Can do the indestructible trick, which is very good for your army. Protect your army from board wipes. It is an instant. And you can also give double strike to something big, which is very useful too. Okay, and then finally, for this particular video, we're just going through, I think we made it only through the cards that came from the guild kit, plus a few, 1 or 2 more, a handful more. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Not sure this will make the final cut, but I'm definitely going to consider it. And I'm going to end it right there for this specific video.